Very good morning dear students. This video is for class 10 subject science chapter number 2 acid bases and salts, and this is lecture number 2. So in the previous lecture we have studied about the acids, bases and their classification. And in the today's lecture we will see what are indicators, what are the types of indicators, how they are used, and the chemical properties of acids and bases, that how acids and bases reacts with different chemicals, and we will see the uses of acids and bases. So let us begin with the first topic, that is indicators. Indicators, as the name indicates, that they gives indication about something. Now what is this something here? Here this something is acids and bases. They indicate about the nature of the substance or solution, that whether the substance is acidic or basic. So the substances that show one color in an acidic medium and another color in a basic medium are called indicators, or the substances which show different indications on the change of mediums. And when we talk about the types of indicators, then according to the sources from which they are obtained, the indicators are of 4 types: natural, synthetic, olfactory and universal indicators. Now let us study them one by one. So the first is natural indicators. As the name itself says, that these are the substances which are obtained from the nature and used as a indicator for indicating the nature of the substance, and whether they are acidic or basic. So here we have litmus, red cabbage and turmeric. These are not only the natural indicators present, but there are many, but we have some of the examples here. That litmus is obtained from lichen, and the solution of litmus is purple in color. But litmus paper, that means the litmus solution, when it is absorbed by some kind of paper, then that litmus paper comes in 2 colors, blue and red. And acids and bases, they have different effects on both the litmus papers. For example, when you talk about the acid, so acid will turn the blue litmus paper into red color, but it will show no effect on the red colored litmus paper. And if we talk about a base, then base will turn the red litmus paper into blue, but it will have no effect on blue litmus paper. So the same kind of indications are given by the red cabbage and turmeric. Turmeric, you all know that this is a ingredient which is used in the kitchen, but it is also a very good natural indicator. You must have seen that many a times when we are having a turmeric stain on our clothes, and when it is washed with the soap, then it turns brown, and when it is washed with water, then again it gets the same color. So these are some kind of natural indicators which are used to get the nature of the substances, that whether they are acidic or basic. The second type of indicators are olfactory indicators. Although these are also the natural indicators only, but the natural indicators, they change the color and then indicate the nature of the substance. But olfactory means type of smell, fragrance. So here these substances like onion, vanilla, clove oil, all these natural substances indicate the substance nature with the help of change in the smell, and that is why they are called olfactory indicators. For example, onion. Paste or juice of onion loses its smell when added with the base, and it does not change its smell with acid. So it can be an indicator of acid and basic medium. Whereas the vanilla, the smell of the vanilla vanishes with the base, but it smells does not vanish with an acid. So we can identify and distinguish between the acids and bases by using olfactory indicators. Then we come to synthetic indicators. Synthetic indicators are the substances which are prepared in the laboratories to identify the nature of the medium. Some of them are phenolphthalein and methyl orange. We also have methyl blue and some other type of synthetic indicators. So let us talk about these two now. Phenolphthalein, which is a colorless liquid, and it remains colorless in case of acids, but when a base is added to phenolphthalein or phenolphthalein is added to a base, then it turns pink. Whereas methyl orange, which is orange in color, but when an acid is added to it, it turns red, and when a base is added to it, it turns yellow. So the synthetic indicators also identifies or indicates the nature of the medium. The three indicators that we have studied now, they just indicate the nature of the medium, that is whether the medium is acidic or basic. But till now we don't know that what is the strength of the acidic or basic medium. Strength means how much acidic that medium is or how much basic it is. So one indicators that are universal indicators. These are the special indicators which are used to indicate the strength of the acid or base. As universal indicator is the combination of many indicators such as water, propanol, phenolphthalein, sodium salt, sodium hydroxide, methyl red, and some other salts also. So it not only indicates the nature of the acid or base or nature of the substance, but it also tells the strength of the acidic or basic medium. Because universal indicators show different colors for different pH values. Different pH values means the concentration of hydrogen ion in the solution. So that is the measurement of acidity or basicity of a solution. And the universal indicators, they have color matching chart that is having the range of 0 to 14 pH, and for every value of pH it is having different colors. That is why we can get to know that how much the solution is acidic or basic. And one more important thing about the universal indicators, that they are available in both forms, solutions and papers. Now let us see a paper chart or a color matching chart of universal indicator. This is how a universal indicator's color chart looks like, that it is having a range of starting from 1 to 14 and a color dark red to blue. So you can see the variations in the color for every value of pH. First it is red, then it slowly turns into light red, that is orange, then yellow, then green, and so on. And by increasing the basicity, it turns to dark blue. So you can see that we are having a point green, which shows the indication of neutral pH. That means this is the pH of pure water, which is having a pH 7 and it is neutral. It is neither acidic nor basic. But as we go from 7 to 1, the acidity or the acidic character of a substance increases. As we go from 7 towards 1, then 6, 5, 4, these are the indications of a solution having a weak acidic nature. But the dark red color or the low pH value is having the indication of a strong acid. The same way 8, 9, 10 are the weak indications of weak bases, whereas 11, 12, 13, 14, these are the indications of strong bases. That means as we go from neutral to basic, medium, or from 7 towards 14, then basic character of a substance increases, and as we go from the 7 towards 1, then acidic character increases. So this was all about the indicators. Now let us start with the second topic, that is chemical properties of acids and bases. When we talk about the chemical properties of acids and bases, the first chemical reaction that comes is reaction of acids and bases with the metals. So whenever an acid is reacting with a metal, then salt is produced. Along with the production of salt, we have the evolution of hydrogen gas. Why the hydrogen gas is evolving in this reaction? Because we know that in the acidic medium, the presence of H ion will be there, and the metals, because the metals or most of the metals, as we have seen in the reactivity series, that most of the reactive metals which are having a standard electrode potential value higher than the hydrogen, that metal will replace the hydrogen from the acid, and it will take the place of H plus ion in the acid, and then the salt formation will take place. So let us see it with the help of an example. So here we are taking zinc as a metal and 2HCl, that is hydrochloric acid we are using here. So when hydrochloric acid and zinc react together, then zinc chloride ZnCl2 is formed, because zinc is having a higher standard electrode potential value than hydrogen. So it replaces the hydrogen here and forms ZnCl2, and hydrogen gas is evolved. Now let us see it with the help of an activity, that how we are going to identify or how we are going to get it know that hydrogen gas is produced. So this is the diagram given at page number 19 of your NCERT book related to the activity of reaction of acids with the metals. So here let us understand first the diagram. Here what we have a test tube which is having hydrochloric acid in it and a cork fitted with it, and one delivery tube is attached with it, and this delivery tube is going into the container which is having a soap solution. So when we put the zinc granules, which is metal, so when we put pieces of zinc into the hydrochloric acid, then a reaction between zinc and hydrochloric acid starts, and the bubble formation starts, and this gives the indication of production of any gas. But till now we don't know that whether it is hydrogen or some other gas. How we have to clarify it? That when this gas is collected on the upper portion of the test tube, then it goes to the delivery tube, and hence it comes to the soap solution. So when it reacts with the water, then it starts forming bubbles here. Then these bubbles are coming out of the water, and when we bring a burning candle near the bubbles, then it starts burning with a pop sound, and this burning of gas with the pop sound gives the indication of presence of hydrogen, because hydrogen is a gas. Hydrogen is a flammable gas which burns with the pop sound. So here it is clarified that whenever an acid is reacting with a metal, hydrogen gas is evolved and a salt is produced. But the reactivity of all the metals is not similar as the zinc is having, because all the metals, they have different standard electrode potential values, and accordingly they react with the hydrogen present in the acids. Now let us move on the second type of reaction. The second reaction is the reaction between a base and a metal. So when a base reacts with a metal, the same thing happens, that hydrogen gas evolves and a salt formation is there because of the same basics. Here we are taking base NaOH, sodium hydroxide, and zinc is a metal. So when zinc reacts with the base sodium hydroxide, it forms sodium zincate, that is having a formula Na2ZnO2. and hydrogen is evolved from here. So a salt and hydrogen gases evolved. Salt production is there and hydrogen gases evolved. But all the metals do not react with the same reactivity or on the same scale as zinc is doing it with the NaOH. Depending upon the value of standard electrode potential values of metal, they replace the hydrogen from the acids or the bases. So as here we are not having hydrogen, we are having hydroxide. But the metals, they can replace only hydrogen from it. So that is happening here. The hydrogen gases evolved. Now let us study the second type of reaction. The second chemical property of acids and bases is that when reaction of metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonates with acids occur. So the first case, that is when a metal carbonate reacts with an acid, salt is formed, water is formed and carbon dioxide gases evolved. The same case happens when a metal hydrogen carbonate reacts with an acid, salt, carbon dioxide and water is produced. Let us understand this with the help of an activity. This is page number 20 of your NCERT book, and this shows the activity of metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonates with the acid. So what we have to do in this activity, we have to take two test tubes A and B. In both the test tubes we will take the dilute hydrochloric acid, and in one of the test tube we will add metal carbonate and another test tube we will add the metal hydrogen carbonate, and then we will see what happens and what kind of gas is produced. So what we have to do, we have taken two test tubes A and B and we have added the sodium carbonate as the metal carbonate and sodium hydrogen carbonate as the metal hydrogen carbonate in both the test tubes. Now we have added 2 ml of dilute hydrochloric acid to both the test tubes. Now we have to observe that what is happening. So we'll see that there is some kind of gas production, the reaction is taking place, and whatever gas is produced in this reaction, we have to pass this gas produced in each case through the lime water, that is calcium hydroxide, CaOH whole twice. Then we have to see that what kind of gas is produced. Now let us see what happens when we are taking a metal carbonate and a metal hydrogen carbonate and it reacts with an acid. So here you can see that in test tube A, which is having sodium carbonate as the solid material in the test tube, and when we add the hydrochloric acid to it, that is aqueous or diluted hydrochloric acid, then what happens? Salt production is there as sodium chloride is formed, H2O, water is produced in liquid state, and production of carbon dioxide gas is there. But to confirm that this is carbon dioxide gas only, we have to further react this gas with calcium hydroxide. So when we pass the gas produced in this test tube through a delivery tube, and in the other test tube we are having the calcium hydroxide, you can see here. In the other test tube we have calcium hydroxide, and when this gas is passed through calcium hydroxide, then what happens? It turns calcium hydroxide milky. Why? Because calcium hydroxide, that is lime water, when carbon dioxide gas is passed through it, it forms CaCO3, that is calcium carbonate, which is insoluble in water and gives a white precipitate. That is why the calcium hydroxide solution turns milky. But as more and more carbon dioxide gases pass through this insoluble precipitate, then what happens? Calcium hydrogen carbonate is formed. But this calcium hydrogen carbonate is soluble in water. So the solution will again become the clear solution. And this gives the indication that whatever gas is produced in the reaction is carbon dioxide gas only. This way we can confirm that whenever a metal carbonate or a metal hydrogen carbonate reacts with an acid, production of salt, water and carbon dioxide gas takes place. Third chemical property of acids is that the reaction of metallic oxides with the acid. So whenever a metal oxide is reacting with the acid, it produces salt and water. Why salt production is there? Because metallic oxides, they are basic in nature. So when a base or a basic material is reacting with an acid, neutralization reaction will take place and the production of salt and water will take place. So here we have some of the examples of metal oxides like copper oxide. When copper oxide in solid form reacts with the dilute hydrochloric acid, it forms copper chloride and water. The same happens in the case of calcium and magnesium, but calcium reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid and gives calcium chloride and water, and magnesium oxide, it reacts with the sulfuric acid, dilute sulfuric acid and forms magnesium sulfate. So you can understand that when hydrogen chloride is reacting, chloride salts are formed, and when sulfuric acid is reacting, then sulfates of the metals are formed, and along with it water is produced. The fourth chemical property of an acid is the reaction of a base with an acid. That how acid and base they react with each other. As they are the antis of each other, so when a base and acid reacts together, they form salt and water. That means neutralization reaction takes place. For example, sodium hydroxide, which is a strong base, and hydrochloric acid, which is a strong acid, when they react together, they form sodium chloride and water. Sodium chloride is the chloride salt of sodium. The next reaction is the reaction of non-metallic oxides with base. Because metallic oxides, they were basic in nature, so they will not react with the base. That is why we are not having the reactions of metal oxide with the bases. And the same in the case of acids, that non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature, and hence acidic oxides, they do not react with the acids. That is why we have the reactions of non-metallic oxides with the base, and non-metallic oxides with the acids we do not have. So when a non-metallic oxide or non-metal oxide reacts with a base, it forms salt and water. So the same neutralization reaction takes place. For example, carbon dioxide, which is a non-metallic oxide, when it reacts with sodium hydroxide in aqueous state, it forms Na2CO3, that is sodium carbonate, and along with it hydrogen water molecule is produced. The same happens in the case of calcium hydroxide, which is another base, and it forms calcium carbonate and water. Now, according to the chemical reactivities of acids and bases, we have different uses of acids and bases. So let us study some of them. Let us study the uses of acids first. So acids are used in car batteries, like H2SO4 acid is used in the car batteries, and they are also used in the manufacturing of fertilizers, like ammonia is used in the manufacturing of urea, and that ammonia is produced using nitric acid. So this nitric acid helps, nitric acid, that is HNO3, so that also helps in the manufacturing of fertilizers. Hydrochloric acid is used as a toilet cleansing agent. Tartaric acid, which is a part of the baking powder, so this is also used in the cooking. Acids are used as food preservatives as well. And as we have seen that when an acid is reacting with the metal carbonates or metal hydrogen carbonates, carbon dioxide gas is produced. Carbon dioxide gas gives the effervescence effect. So because of that effervescence effect, this carbonic acid, H2CO3, or you can say acids, are used in the aerated drinks. So these were the some of the uses of acids. Now let us see some of the uses of bases. Bases are used in the manufacturing of soaps. They are used for whitewashing like calcium hydroxide. Also used as an antacid as they produce the neutralization effect. So when acidity or hyperacidity is there in the stomach, then antacids, they neutralize the effect of hyperacidity or high amount of acid present in the stomach. For example, magnesium hydroxide or calcium hydroxide is also used for the same purpose. Then bases are also used to remove the grease stains from the cloth. Ammonium hydroxide is one of the example. And to neutralize the acidic soil, we use calcium oxide, which is a base. And we know that to neutralize bee sting acid, as we know that bee sting is having the formic acid in it, so to neutralize the effect of that acid which causes the irritation and pain, some bases are used. So this was all about today's lecture. We have studied about the indicators, types of indicators. We have seen the types of indicators. That we have seen natural, synthetic, olfactory and universal indicators. So in indicators, we have studied the types of indicators and what are the indicators and how they help to identify the nature of the medium. Then we have seen the chemical properties of acids and bases. In the chemical properties, we have seen the reaction of metal with acid, and we have also seen the reactions of acids and bases, acids and metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonates we also see. Then we have seen the reaction of metal oxides with acids and non-metal oxides with bases. These were some of the chemical reactions that we have seen about the acids and bases, that how acids react with the particular substances or some chemicals. Then we have studied at the end of the lecture uses of acids and bases. So this was all about today's lecture. Now let us see today's homework for you. So as homework, you have in total 6 questions. First 3 questions are your in-text questions of NCERT, that is page number 22. And the questions are, question number 1 is, why should curd and sour substances not be kept in the brass or copper vessels? I am repeating the question. Why should curd and sour substances not be kept in the brass or copper vessels? Question number 2 is, which gas is usually liberated when an acid reacts with the metal? Illustrate with an example. How will you test for the presence of this gas? Question number 3 is, metal compound A reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce effervescence. The gas evolved extinguishes a burning candle. Write a balanced chemical equation for the reaction if one of the compound formed is calcium chloride. Question number 4 of your homework is the question number 9 of NCERT exercise of chapter number 2 on page number 35. Question number 9. So question number 4 of your homework is that 5 solutions A, B, C, D and E were tested with universal indicator. They showed pH as 4, 1, 11, 7 and 9 respectively. Now which solution is A, neutral, B, strongly alkaline, C, strongly acidic, D, weakly acidic, E, weakly alkaline? Arrange the pH in increasing order of hydrogen ion concentration. The next question for you is, question number 5 is, fresh milk has a pH of 6. How do you think the pH will change as it turns into curd? Explain your answer. Question number 6 for you is, a milkman adds a very small amount of baking soda to fresh milk. Part A of the question according to the situation is, why does he shift the pH of fresh milk from 6 to slightly alkaline? Part B is, why does the milk takes a long time to set as curd? Now let us see the homework solutions for lecture number 1. So in lecture number 1 we were having 4 questions in total, and the first question was, define the term acid. What are the characteristic properties of acids? Acids are the substances that give H plus ion or H3O plus ion, that is called hydronium ion, when they are dissolved in water. So you know that when an acid is dissolved in the water, it furnishes the positive and negative ions, which are, for example, if we are dissolving HCl in the water, then it gives H plus and Cl negative. But this H plus is unstable and it will go unattached with the water molecule and form H3O plus. So we can say that a substance which furnish H plus ion, hydrogen ion or hydronium ion are called acidic substances. They have the properties that they can turn the blue litmus into red color, but phenolphthalein remains colorless in presence of an acid. Methyl orange turns red when acidic medium is there. Acid is having a pH value less than 7. And when we talk about the taste of acids, they are sour in taste and they are corrosive in nature. They are corrosive on the skin of the human beings as well. So be careful with the acids. Now let us see the second question. The second question is, name the substance in which the following acids are present. First, ethanoic acid. Second, tartaric acid. And the answer to this question is that ethanoic acid is present in the vinegar and tartaric acid is present in the tamarind and grapes. Question number 3 is, define the term base. What are the characteristic properties of bases? Base is a substance which is bitter in taste and gives hydroxide ions or OH negative ions when dissolved in water. And the properties of the bases are that they are bitter in taste, have a pH value greater than 7, they turn red litmus into blue color and have no effect on the blue litmus paper. They turn phenolphthalein indicator pink, which is colorless in the original state. Methyl orange turns yellow in the presence of a base, which is orange in original color. Fourth question of lecture number 1 was the NCERT in-text question of page number 18. That is, you have been provided 3 sets of test tubes. One of them contains distilled water, other 2 contain an acidic solution and a basic solution respectively. If you are given only red litmus paper, how will you identify the contents of each test tube? So we have 3 test tubes. Now let us see how to proceed to identify the solutions in each test tube. The step 1 is, take solutions and mark the test tubes as A, B, C. Second, dip red litmus paper in all. So only red litmus paper is provided to us. So either one will turn the red litmus paper blue, that is base, because we know that bases have the property then when they react with the red litmus paper, they turn it blue. So 1 is identified. Now we are remained with 2. Now dip this blue litmus paper, which is obtained by dipping in the base, into rest of the 2 test tubes one by one, or put one drop on the blue litmus paper from each test tube. Then one solution will turn it red, and that gives the confirmation of presence of acid. And the third one, which is left, is neutral, that is water, because it is not having any effect on the red or blue litmus paper because it is neutral in nature. So that is how we have to proceed in the identification of different solutions. So this is it for today. Now we'll see you in the next lecture, that is lecture number 3. Till then, take care and goodbye.